And
Hello,
we are
officially.
live.
Hello, officially. Thank you, Mariana. And hello, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us. And we will do our best to be short and on the subject, like not so many online discussions are usually. And my name is Diana Filimon. I'm an activist from Romania, and I'm part of the DCN Global team. And we are organizing today a follow-up to our launch we had, I think, 1 month ago. I lost the track of time in Central Asia with our friends here, and who are people who are changing the communities around them in their own countries. And we want to talk today about their work, first of all, and also about digital literacy, which is a challenging subject everywhere, but it's a particular focus we discovered also in our event in Almaty. And I will start by presenting our special guests. And Aigerim is coming from Kazakhstan today. Maftuna is coming from Uzbekistan, Tirim Gul is coming from Kyrgyzstan, and Talant, the gentleman of the day, also from Kyrgyzstan. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. And I will briefly invite you to share a few thoughts and share some ideas about your work, and then we move on to some question. I think I can start with Aigerim. Aigerim, if you're ready, just go alphabetically.
Sure. Would you like me to have a presentation, or I
If
can
you
just?
have, however you feel more comfortable in presenting
Okay,
your
I'll just go without one then.
work.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm very much excited about this event. Thank you so much for doing this follow-up, and I'm very happy to see everyone. So my name is Aigerim, and I'm a digital literacy team leader from Kazakhstani NGO called Connected, and our primary mission is to address the digital divide in education in Kazakhstan. For now, it's at the local level, but hopefully we can get to the regional level across Central Asia in the future. So I'd like to perhaps tell you a little bit of background story, how we came up with this initiative. It started back in 2020 with a simple yet a very crucial goal to quickly gather and distribute equipment such as smartphones, computers, tablets, laptops to support online learning. So during COVID-19 pandemic. So we all saw that in the news, or at least in Central Asian context, how children from large families had to use a single phone. Usually it was their parents' phones, making remote learning very challenging. And for some families, it was even impossible. However, soon after, we also realized, and it became evident, that we also need to focus on digital literacy skills. And despite the policies and state documents stating that the big proportion of population is equipped with equipment, there was no evidence that this category of students we're focusing on have digital literacy skills. So this is the core idea of our project. Since then, is just to provide access to equipment and to educate middle school children and teens in digital literacy through our free online courses, which we conduct on the monthly basis, and we coordinate them on our own. One of the main goals for this year and the next year within our project is to collaborate with corporate sector to raise awareness of the issue of e-waste management. So it's a win-win situation for both sides, because we also involve them in tackling the digital inequality at the local level. For instance, the corporations, they have to renew the equipment every, certain amount of time, like maybe every 2 years or 3 years. So they provide their laptops to us, and by doing that, they also contribute to eliminating digital inequality in the region. and having this effective e-waste management rather than simply discarding the equipment they have. So after receiving them, of course, we don't just blindly give them away, right? We have a team who gathers that equipment, inspects them, repairs, and sort of reimburses this before handling it to the families in need. And there is sort of a chain, right? So once the families get the equipment, we ask or require the families who have children in their families to take our online courses. So yeah, as I mentioned, our primary focus within my department of digital literacy is to provide online digital literacy courses. And during our meeting, during our forum, I mostly focused on telling you about the digital literacy courses for children, but we also have another project which we are very proud of. It's a digital literacy course for senior citizens, and it's conducted offline. And also we do it on a monthly basis, and the atmosphere in this courses is just magical because we also have this idea that the senior citizens feel sort of discomfort, right, navigating this digital world. So we're also trying to come up with solutions. And for now, we're really expanding our territory across Kazakhstan, but we'd be very much happy to collaborate with other regions in Central Asia, and then forward the idea and then make it happen for all our people of all age ranges and physical opportunities to be involved in the digital world. This is so far it. If you have further questions in the future, I would be happy to answer them. Thank you so much.
We definitely have more questions, but we'll wait our turn. And I just want to say that I've heard several projects bringing together for different reasons older generation with young generation, and they all work very well because they in spite of the difference of age, they share so many things, especially in media literacy, a special need for media literacy, both ages. Okay, thank you so much, Aigerim. And now I moved on to Maftuna. Can you please share a few thoughts about your work?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for letting me be here, be the part of this meeting today. Today, I would like to speak shortly about the project that we are running these days in Tashkent. It's called Media Plus Media Literacy Courses for People with Disabilities. And the project is really a short term, not compared to others that we will discuss today. But the main aspect of this project is the technical part that we try to make the information about media literacy, about in general media industry that is happening in Uzbekistan in a way more accessible language. For example, if we are inviting to the groups, we have actually two groups of Russian speaking and Uzbek speaking youth with disabilities in Tashkent. And if they are interested to speak about podcasting, or if they are interested to speak about interviewing or about fact-checking, we invite specialists, renowned experts of these fields to these classes, to these trainings, and they basically share all the knowledge within several class hours, let's say. And the information is not just being told. If the participant needs, for example, a sign language translation or interpretation, or if it's a person with visual impairment, we provide special information so that they could read it or listen to it through their laptop or their phones. Or if it's a person with who needs interpretation into sign language, we provide a translator. So the specifics of these courses is mainly based on their technical aspects. And when it comes to the implementation, the project is being run by our organization, Charity Plus NGO, and the main donor of this project is the Agency for the Youth Initiative. Oh, excuse me. I'm a bit nervous.
Don't worry. It's you're here among colleagues. Don't.
Yes. I'm just a bit nervous to see all these brilliant people. So the project is being honored by the youth agency in Uzbekistan, and the common ground between digital literacy and media literacy is critical thinking. So through our courses, we try to teach the young people who didn't previously have this access to information, to how to analyze information or even fact check. Most of them didn't know what fact checking means. So through these courses, we are trying to teach this basic knowledge, but by this, we are trying to create a small but strong community of young professionals in media, and hopefully this will scale up to the whole Uzbekistan. And as Aigerim said before, we are hoping to go to the whole region as well. So in short, this is all about our project today.
Thank you so much, Maftuna, and congratulations for an impeccable presentation. You don't have any reason to worry about that.
Thank you
so much. Okay, Tinim Gul, can you please share a few thoughts about your work? Feel free to do it with slides or with words, however you feel comfortable.
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. Maybe for this talk, I will present the recent update on media literacy campaign conducted by Media Sabak Foundation, which I'm working with. It's a recent, I just came from the field trips to the regions, to the local universities in Kyrgyzstan, where we had public lectures on media literacy together with Internews Kyrgyzstan. And there are some observations after this this event, which I want to share with you. First of all, I want to a little bit tell about the Media Sabak Foundation, what they do in Kyrgyzstan. The Media Support Center Foundation in Kyrgyzstan has emerged as a pioneering force in the media development and information literacy within Central Asia. This organization works together with the Ministry of Education and Kyrgyz Academy of Education. They made a lot of efforts to promote media literacy in education system. They developed a methodological guide to introduce digital education into the curriculum. This project also tailored lessons which includes media literacy for grades 9-11, digital literacy modules for grade 5-6, and also they included some aspects of media literacy in the program of People and Society. It's like Человек, Общество, the subject which is running by schools. So all media literacy component. This project also includes teacher resource book and other valuable resources. And there is also online platform in four Central Asian languages, mediasabak.org, which continues to expand and presents materials for teachers in Russian, Kyrgyz, Tajik, and Uzbek. And also, along with that work, Media Sabak conducts media labs for school teachers, hosts summer camps for school children, and annually they organize the contest among schools for the best media corner in Kyrgyzstan. And within this campaign, which they are running now, they had this contest this year as well, and each year they award the best media corners among schools. And it's I'm very glad that many regional schools in remote areas like Batken, Togustoro, it's very far from the center, they are very active in making content about their regions, about their schools. And what was my observations during these public lectures, we still have to explain to the audience the main aspects about what is independent media, why they are important, why we have to distinguish between state media and independent media. Those kind of things also, we cannot talk about media literacy without talking about these aspects as well. And why during the lectures we also I think it's important to also to help young people to those lectures about fake news and how to combat the fake news also still important. Along with that, I just would like to mention some challenges our country face. First of all, in terms of journalism. So according to the last study of which was held by Freedom House on freedom of the net, we're still partially free with because of different challenges our journalists face, our prominent independent media outlets face. Also, one of the things which on many international events were highlighted by our media experts, that the unprecedented pressure on and attacks on journalists. Why I'm talking about that, because that's also like during our public lectures we talked and explained to students, to young people, so they could align that why professional media is important for media literacy, why we have to support them, why it is important for development of the country. Those kind of things goes along with all educational stuff around combating disinformation exercises. Talking about our countries, I mean Central Asian countries, I think we have to also talk about influence and impact of propaganda on our population, and the recent study which Internews Kyrgyzstan did about consumption of news in our region, especially in Kyrgyzstan, tells that still we are taking information from Russian media outlets, and this is also impact the way how we talk about media literacy in the region. What else? I want to say, I think all educational initiatives are very important in the region. Unfortunately, they are not systematic and not held by government agencies, but mostly with the support of donor organizations. But we should work with schools, universities, and include media literacy as a part of the education, and those kind of campaigns which we're running now on media literacy shows and demonstrates it's still new topic for population. It's still, we should start from the scratch, explaining very basic things. That's also, I mean, was my conclusion after the visits to the regional universities. And talking about young people, they can be both agents and recipients of these changes. And it's important to prepare them not only technically, I mean, educate, but also conceptually. I mean, that's why I think that talks about why professional journalism is important, ethical journalism is important, is also one of the things we have to consider when we are conducting information campaigns on why we should be media and digitally literate. I hope I like what it was. I mean, understandable. What I mean, the main message. As a media expert, I'm still concerned about the deterioration of the situation around media freedoms in the region, especially in Kyrgyzstan was among those who we were proud to say that we are a very free country, but unfortunately, last 2-3 years shows we are not.
Thank you so much. I know it's very hard to sum up so much work and so many ideas. So thank you for doing it. I would start by asking, because there are many fires burning everywhere in the media literacy topic. So a question for you, and feel free to jump in and add your thoughts. What do you see as a priority for the region on the topic of digital literacy? You said that sometimes you have to start from the scratch, but okay, let's go to the scratch. If you had to name one priority, what would you feel that it is? So it's a question for all our speakers.
Maybe general answer, it's education. I mean, all these initiatives which Maftuna also told about what they do in Tajikistan, what Media Sabak Foundation does in Kyrgyzstan. It's important. It should be, I mean, supported on different levels. And also, I think it's important, I mean, cooperation between education system and industry. I mean, if I'm talking about media literacy, it's about journalistic institutions, media outlets itself, and cooperation with organizational educational institutions. That's also, I think, one thing, because, for example, now after this also trips, I think it's important for journalists themselves to explain their work, or why they do, what is the importance of their investigative reporting, why they are the force power. I mean, we consider them for force power because I think sometimes, I mean, general population not always understand their work. So that's why I'm talking about scratch and telling people basic concepts about media and society. That's, I think, we have to also include into our educational system as well. I'm talking here as a university teacher, but also from school years, explaining what is the power, how state is functioning, and what is the role of media in that environment.
Thank you so much. Talant, can you continue and then share with us a few words about your work?
Thanks so much, Diana. It's a pleasure to be at this distinguished panel. Very inspiring presentations by previous speakers. And if I could add on the activities that we are doing in Kyrgyzstan, and of course, hopefully we can share these experiences gladly with our neighboring countries, partners in neighboring countries. Maybe I could mention one of our projects that we are doing. It's called, Digital Citizen, Sanarip Insan, funded by the European Union. And its aim is to provide digital skills, digital literacy for rural communities. And the principle is we'd like to see it as all boats rise with the tide. So if we can provide basic digital skills for people in rural areas, in general, the whole society will be better off. In our approach, we are focusing on a few main principles that are guiding our work. First of all, we are focusing all our work in rural parts of the country. We think that in the capital city there is already many initiatives, many resources that people can take advantage of. However, if you step out of the capital city of Bishkek, then people feel big demand for these kinds of activities and resources and help. Second principle that we're using is it's actually it's not second, but one of the main principles is girls first. So all of our activities aimed at helping girls and young women in rural areas. Women empowerment is one of our kind of approaches. And I will share some of the success stories on the chat, links that we are producing some of the stories after the activities that we've conducted. One more principle that we are using is local language first. So we try to do all of our work in Kyrgyz language. I think that, and it's relevant for all the countries in the region, that there is a big deficit of resources, especially educational resources, in local languages. And I was very happy to hear from all the previous presentations that there is a big focus on local languages. One interesting approach that we are using is the use of traditional tools and traditional storytellers. Sometimes when you talk to people about new technologies, there is a certain fear of technology, and people may have some kind of, let's say, mental blocks. They would think this is too sophisticated, too advanced. And when we use traditional channels, traditional storytellers, suddenly all these concepts become understandable, friendly. For example, we did a training on cyber hygiene for citizens. And to convey the message, we invited a traditional singer who would sing on his komus, a traditional three-string instrument. Actually, there is similar artists in Kazakhstan too who use dombra. Sometimes we have komus dombra battles, and these singers compete with each other. So in this case, this traditional storyteller would explain through a traditional song the importance of protecting your personal data, of being safe on the internet, using very simple terms. So he would say that, no, if you are locking your house, you do it by one lock, but you lock your gate as well. So you need to have two-factor authentication. You need to have your password. If you feel that in real life there are bad guys, then online there are certainly even more bad guys. So all these concepts he would sing in a very simple way. So I think this was very effective channel of communication with people in rural areas. We invite many of these fashionable word influencers, but traditional influencers. For example, one of our partner organizations is called Mutakalim Foundation, and they work mainly with very conservative groups of society, with girls who study in madrasas. And the leader of this organization would say that in the religion, in the religious books, there is nothing that says girls should only stay home. There is nothing that says that girls cannot pursue education. There is nothing that says girls cannot be scientists. So if we tell this, of course, it may get through, but when it's people with kind of respect and authority in communities convey this message, then the kind of message comes across much better. And I'd like to conclude maybe my brief intervention with some of the ideas for cooperation. And we had started discussing some ideas during our meeting in Almaty, for example, with Aigerim, I learned a lot how in Kazakhstan there is big effort to produce digital content in Kazakh language. I was really impressed that, for example, Harry Potter book in Kazakh is actually Harry Potter, not Gary. So it's a small thing, but very kind of important to realize that small things can make big difference. Maftuna was talking about people with different abilities. I think adopting our work so everybody can benefit from the internet, regardless of what kind of physical and mental abilities you have, would be very useful. Paying attention to such aspects as child online protection, gender violence online. I think these are also important issues that we need to look into together as a region. And one more area I think where we can cooperate and we should cooperate is, again, we were discussing in Almaty, all of our countries are experiencing the negative adverse impact of climate change. And this is happening very quickly. So we have a project that monitors climate conditions in Kyrgyzstan, and we could share this experience, for example, to measure climate conditions in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, other countries. So these are just some of the ideas for thought on which we could potentially find ways to collaborate. Thank you, Diana, back to you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think there are so many intersections in your work, and we discovered that also when we were in Kazakhstan, that it's amazing how many things can be done if you put smart people in the same room for a day or two. Thank you so much. So I heard from every one of you at least once mentioned young people. So everybody is worried about young people, how they can gain access in some places to internet and understand what they're using and what they're reading on some other places. So a general question, I would like every one of you to share some thoughts. How do you see them? Do you see them prepared? Do you see them more vulnerable? Do you see them as a hope or as another reason to get worried about the future? How do you feel from your work, from your interactions with them?
I can share our experience since we directly work with children, and our target audience is in fact middle school children aged 11 to 15. And one observation, or I think there is a professor from India, right? He mentioned something about children being involved in digital literacy, right? And not having assumptions and biases. And this is something that we encounter on a daily basis, because digital literacy is something that doesn't have an urgency per se in terms of thinking from the perspective that children might not have digital literacy skills or basic digital literacy skills. And this is the biggest misconception or even a scam of the 21st century, right? Because we believe that the children have a unique advantage or opportunity because they're already born into the digital age. However, that does not make them automatically digital literate, as a lot of people assume, and we call them digital natives or digital aborigines or something like that. And what we encounter through the process of our work is that the children still can have the access to technology. They can still have access to online games, right? They know how to navigate social media. However, the way they do that is a different question. And this is something that we try to cover within digital literacy, teaching them how to use internet safely for their benefit and making it as a productive tool to navigate in this digital era. So, and then comparing it, of course, to previous generations, they're in a very, let's say, sensitive position, right? Because again, they're already born with it, but that makes it difficult for our generation, right? Make sure that they're in the safe zone. Thank you.
Please go ahead, Maftuna. Thank you, Aigerim.
Yes, when it comes to younger generation, we work with slightly older people at my work. They are higher than 18 years old. So when it comes to them, I noticed that due to their interest in languages, not only in Russian or English, they tend to be critical and coherent on what kind of information they try to consume on everyday basis. But at the same time, that depends on their social background. For example, I see people mainly from the big cities. And when it comes to younger people from the regions, from rural area, unfortunately, the main issue I see and I notice is the lack of critical thinking and analytical skills. So based on this, I believe that it's really important, at least in Uzbekistan, I can't say it for the whole region, but I believe that due to our common background, historical and cultural, we have similar issues. So I believe that we need to implement some sort of critical thinking skills and analytical skills into the classes, into the school studies, which are already there, without overburdening the school children.
Thank you so much, Maftuna. Please go ahead, Ingrid.
May I add just about hope? After communicating with many people in the regions, young people in the regions, I see hope. I mean, then they navigate in this environment. They see potential threats, but as a teacher, I think here in terms of education, I mean, working with texts, that what Maftuna also mentioned, why it's important to, I mean, long form journalism or deeper understanding of the subject. It's very important today, especially when we have to consider, I mean, everything in context, and when the world is polarized after events happening in the world, I think we have to, I mean, those kind of understanding the environment critically and evaluating that information is important. And here, I mean, traditional things we teach is also important. I mean, reading, the understanding text, words, not only just being creative, but also being analytical. It's, I think, it's still relevant to young generation, and we have to contribute in that. Yeah, that's, as a teacher, I think it's important.
Definitely, it is. Thank you so much. And yeah, Talant, please.
Yes, I'd like to just echo and support all the comments that were made earlier, and continue on pick up on the aspect that Aigerim started on the safety online. So as I guess people who work on digital development and on kind of activities to bring people into the internet, we feel also the responsibility for the people who join internet for the first time, and we need to kind of prepare them, especially young people, that cyber hygiene is utmost important. So cyber security, online protection should not be an afterthought. It should be kind of taught or trained at the same time as we are bringing people to the digital world. So I think this aspect of child online protection that I mentioned earlier has to be really paid attention to, especially for our young users. They can be extremely vulnerable, and unfortunately, I sometimes imagine that when we were children, of course, there might have been threats on the street. So when you come home, you would feel safe. Now, young children, even at home, they may be subject to kind of bullying, all kinds of issues. Plus, they can be victims of international crimes. So I think this aspect is extremely important if we are working in the field of digital development.
Yeah, it's an important thought too, that homes become unsafe because of the internet access that we have. Thank you so much, Talant. Okay, Aigerim, if you have anything else to add, I saw you nodding a few times.
No, I was just agreeing. I always agree with whatever Talant says.
Thank you so much. Then I would like to challenge you to talk about a very discussed and controversial subject, AI. We have sometimes the feeling that the subject disappears and then it shows up again with a new article or whatnot. And for you in particular, with your work in the region, do you see any opportunity in the AI? Do you see more a threat or an opportunity? Because sometimes new technology can help some regions who are struggling to keep up, to jump forward a little bit. Maybe this is the case with AI, or maybe not. How do you feel? How do you feel about this? What do you think? Who feels brave enough to approach the AI subject?
I can go on. Continue. Yeah. Well, there are two sets of opinions, like my personal opinion and the opinion that the state holds, right? Because we always have, I think that's the case with Central Asia. It seems sometimes that government and people are two different states, having different opinions and different mode of progressing. So there was a very major forum recently, I think few days ago, called Digital Bridge, and there was like the entire ministry president invited, and they were saying about the importance of. Oh, there was also a TikTok CEO invited as well, and they're all into this engaging in this digital opportunities, because obviously the forums are usually about opportunities rather than challenges. And the president actually stated that the importance of AI is foremost importance, right? Because again, it's not a distant concept as we saw before. It's like very much a tangible reality, because if Talant, for example, she's in academia, and I'm sure she was already facing different challenges and opportunities with AI tools such as ChatGPT and others. But the interesting thing about AI, I think it's been here for quite some time, right? But only with the emergence of ChatGPT, it became somewhat challenging to address, right? Whether it's an opportunity or could be a threat. And my personal opinion, the opinion of a lot of people, I believe, is if it is used ethically, if it is used holistically, right, and strategically, then of course it's an opportunity, and they're very much welcome. It's very much welcome in our lives. But if it can both empower and weaken already marginalized communities. And one example that comes to my mind is language, obviously, because all the AI-driven online tools, they're very much English-oriented. And in our communities, most of the East Asian or Central Asian communities, the local languages are not really present in digital space. If to take Kazakh language, for instance, AI cannot be taught Kazakh language because there is no Kazakh content on the internet, right? So that actually can lead to even more inequity, right? Because those who have access to languages, those who have access to equipment, to a decent internet, they will get to further their skills and get better benefits. And that will create even bigger breach between those who don't have access to such opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Could I jump in? Yes.
Go
ahead. Whenever I agree with Aigerim, I think there is a lot of opportunities, especially I agree also on the language aspect. And also when we talk about topics on AI, It reminds me a few years ago how blockchain was all the rage. Everybody was talking about blockchain, and every discussion had to be peppered with blockchain. So if you wanted to bring audience to your discussion, you had to say blockchain. And I feel today it's a similar hype. Many people want to kind of attract audience. They want to bring attention by saying AI and adding these two letters to anything. Like it's like, again, like Harry Potter and something, Philosopher's Stone. So it's like Harry Potter and AI. So I think, first of all, of course, there are many opportunities, but when we talked about blockchain, we invited one of the leading experts on blockchain to our discussion. And his presentation consisted of one slide. He said, do I need blockchain? And the response was no. So in the picture, it was a horse and a horse cart. So he was saying that, we are not going to drive the horse cart by putting the horse in the back. So we need to resolve all the basic issues before we get into, we need to put our horse to the front, resolve all the basic things like internet connectivity, digital skills, cyber security, all those aspects, train people, on basic, sciences, mathematics, physics, and everything, which can then become foundations for AI. But of course, we should not neglect this topic. We need to look into it. But when we hear somebody talking about it, I think we need to use some filters and to see, is that person really an AI expert, or just kind of using these fashionable words for unsubstantive discussions. So I think that would be my kind of contribution to the discussion.
Thank you so much. Team Gul, what do you have to add?
Yeah, just I agree. The conversations is just in the beginning. I mean, we just talk about, but nothing happened really. Of course, we should talk about benefits, the consequences of using AI, and even still in our university, it's all in the beginning. I mean, there are no certain rules or guidelines still. It's like very discussional issue, how we will navigate the world with AI. But I think what we should do as communicators, as media specialists, just to explain the benefits, the disadvantages as well. That's what I see, how we can start conversation about AI, because I remember how 1 year ago, my previous colleagues in my previous organization, when they raised the question among journalists, it was still new. I mean, for journalists as well, for experienced people who use internet and they know the technology, some news, but even for them, it was kind of new. So yeah, it's just start. Let's see what is going to happen next.
Thank you so much. So if you don't have anything else to add on this topic, I would come back to a question I also asked you during our days together in Almaty, and that implies that you have a magic wand and you can fix something there. I know Talant wanted to be Elon Musk, as far as I remember, to replace Elon Musk with a good version of him. But you can stick to the same idea if you're attached to it. But what would you do? What would you fix? The first thing you would fix if you would have a magic wand in your field, in your countries, in your region, wherever you feel more inspired to do it. Or if you are Harry Potter, let's say, because he kept appearing in our conversation.
If I had one wish only in terms of the topic of our discussion, I think I would focus a lot on improving conditions for teachers, raising salaries, making their lives easier, because they, especially in rural areas, because they will train our children, they will provide them basic knowledge and everything. So if I could do only one thing, then it would be to make lives of teachers better and easier.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's see who else feels inspired to do some magic today.
Maybe I will also add to the words what Talant mentioned, the narrowing or shortening the gap between regions and city. That's one of the things I think is important in our region. And in terms of language, still, I mean, local languages are important, and this shows how we failed. I mean, many initiatives failed in the past because of not connecting to local people, and now we are trying to fill that gap. Even like Talant mentioned, how they are conducting all these things now in Kyrgyz, and now many international organizations also with all this international the informational campaigns, they are struggling because we should talk to our people on their language, and that will maybe help us, and that will be magic wand in the future. Yeah, language gap and the regional gap between city and villages.
That sounds great. Okay, so now, ladies, Aigerim, what would you do?
I think I'm not going to be very, creative in it, because the area I work in, which is digital literacy, and I would definitely want to establish a sort of very comprehensive, tailored digital literacy programs for all age groups, for people with different physical opportunities, because that was the idea that Maftuna gave us today within her scope of work. And definitely regions, be it rural areas or cities, that focus on digital literacy. That could be my wish.
That sounds great. And now, Maftuna, what would you fix?
I have 3 wishes, to be honest, and to some extent they are related and not related to each other. First of all, I would try to deal, I would wish for the climate change challenges that are already affecting the lives of people in our region to be solved. And secondly, I would really wish for our people, all of them, to be able to give and receive constructive criticism. This is really a challenge that I also noticed these days. And the final wish, probably it would be a person who solved the climate change issue, a woman or a man from Central Asia to win a Nobel Prize on chemistry or physics or whatever. I really wish for that one. This is my biggest wish. And I hope I would see that person before my older age.
Thank you so much. A lot of wishes for the magic wand, but who knows who hears us, and maybe some of them will happen. Thank you so much for taking your time. Thank you so much to the people who joined us and interacted so much in the comments. Have a lovely afternoon, everyone. Take care and stay engaged. And we will keep in touch and conspire to do good things in the future together as well.